If you already know about Preeti Shenoy or want to know a little bit more about Preeti Shenoy books, then keep watching this video. Hi there, I'm Manpreet. I make book related videos on this channel. I talk about books every odd day on this channel. So if you're into books, make sure you subscribe, follow me on my social media, and turn your notifications on so that you get notified every time I post a new video. So I have been doing this series dedicated to various authors. I have done one for the Joy Datta books, one for Navaneel Chakrabarti books, and this one is for Preeti Shenoy books, wherein I talk about all the books that have been written by the author, give a little bit of introduction on what the book is about, and if I have read the book, I also talk about what I think about that book. Now, I haven't read all the books that are mentioned in this video, but I have read a few of them. So without further ado, let's discuss all the books that Preeti Shenoy has written as of making this video. So Preeti Shenoy is mainly known for writing books that explore different relationships and different facets of relationships in human life. Her first book, 34 Bubblegums and Candies, is a collection of short stories inspired from her own life, various anecdotes which teach you about relationships, about life, and they are written in a very funny, humorous manner, but delve into a very deep subject through Preeti Shenoy's humorous writing. So that is what this book is about. Second book of Preeti Shenoy is actually one of the most popular books of the author, which is Life is What You Make It. Now, it's actually a story about a girl named Ankita who has a very good life. She is smart, she is good looking, she has a lot of friends. Boys would definitely be crazy about her, and she also gets into a very good college for MBA. But 6 months later, she ends up in a mental hospital. What happened to her? What led to all of this? It's basically a love story that discusses what happens in Ankita's life. Third book written by the author is Tea for Two and a Piece of Cake. It's again a love story written by this author, which is about this woman who finds love and marries this guy only to find herself all alone with her husband having left her after years for a younger woman. And now it's about her being very sure that she's not going to depend on a man. She doesn't need a man in her life, but a man does come in her life, and what happens next, that is what the story is about. Next book the author wrote was The Secret Wish List. It begins with the story of a 16-year-old who has a very normal life, and after years of living her life, about 18 years later, she makes this wish list to maybe, change her life. She is making this list in hopes of changing her life, but would it happen? But would a wish list change her life? That is what the story is about. Mainly, if you see, Preeti Shenoy mostly writes romance, but with different life lessons that you can learn from it. So her books are not typical romance which you see from Indian authors, rather they are deep, heart-wrenching and heart-moving romances. The fifth book is The One You Cannot Have by Preeti Shenoy. It's about this guy who's totally heartbroken. He is in love with this woman who leaves him, and he's trying to move on. He even moves abroad to just move on, forget her, and he's back now. And there's another woman who is in his life, but would he be able to forget that other woman and move on? That is what the story is about. Basically, it's a story dealing with heartbreaks and unrequited love and stuff like that. Next book by Preeti Shenoy is It Happens for a Reason, which is about this girl who has a baby at a very young age, and she decides to keep the baby, leaving her modeling career, and now years later she is raising her son, and also she is living a very different kind of life with owning a pet boarding facility and also being a gym instructor. And now all her son wants for her, and all, like, she thinks she should have find a guy, but the guy that comes in her life is the same guy who was there, who was supposed to be the love of her life years ago. Now, what is she going to decide? Is she going to forget everything that happened before and be with this guy, or, find love with somebody else? That is what the book is about. Next is Love, Kisses and All Things Warm. This is actually a collection of essays, short essays, which the author has written discussing love, the subject of love and life and stuff like that. Basically, this book has 5 short essays discussing her observations on romance. By the time her next book came out, I was also into books, Indian books very much, and that book was Why We Love the Way We Do by Preeti Shenoy. I bought this book when it came out, and this book is basically her observations again and some essays on relationships, love, life, all things relationships and love and romance. These essays are based on basically her newspaper columns there, where she discusses all of this stuff, and these are basically a collection or inspired from her newspaper columns. Next book that came out is It's All in the Planets by Preeti Shenoy. Now, this book is about this techie guy who meets this girl who is way out of his league, and she kind of wants him to change for her. And then there is this girl who has found the love of her life. Only one thing is problematic in her current relationship, and then these two people meet in a train, and this girl decides to help the guy maintain his relationship with this way out of his league girl, and that is where the story starts and how their lives get intertwined after this. That is what the book is about. Next book that came out was 100 Little Flames by Preeti Shenoy, which is her first book that I read personally, and I absolutely love this book. This is about this guy who is sent to live with his old grandpa, 26-year-old guy. He has to go and live with his old grumpy grandpa in a small village in Kerala, and this book delves a lot into how lives of old people are like, and how or what they need in relationships or in their lives at that point of time in their lives. That is what this book is about. Amazing book. This book is the reason why I might want to go to Pondicherry once. The book, a large part of the book is set in Kerala, and some part is in Pondicherry as well. Amazing book. Like, this is when I felt like, okay, Preeti Shenoy is an author who is different from the usual league of romance authors in the country, and she is different. She writes amazingly well. Her stories are so heartwarming, and this is not basically a love story, like not the typical kind of love story. It does have portions of romance in it. Reading this book made me realize that I need to read more Preeti Shenoy books, which I am going to do, by the way. I am going to do that very soon. Her next book, second last book in this video, is Love a Little Stronger. It's again a collection of short stories, inspiring, romantic, and lovely short stories inspired from the anecdotes of real life anecdotes from the author's life. This is basically, you can say, a spin-off or a sort of version based on her first book, 34 Bubblegum and Candies. Bubblegums, not bubblegum. Bubblegum. It's good to pronounce that. Lastly, her latest release is The Rule Breakers, which is about this very sincere, very nice girl who lives in a small town, and she's married off to this indifferent husband, and she has a very bad mother-in-law. And it's about her life, and it's about how she tries to find the silver lining in all of this, because she had no choice when it was about getting married, and she didn't know she's gonna end up in this mess. And it's about her trying to find the silver lining in all of the situation, and that is what this book is about. As you may have seen, I only own 3 books by Preeti Shenoy. These 3, I have read the middle one, 100 Little Flames, and I plan to read the other 2 very soon. I actually am very impressed with the author's writing. If you have read Preeti Shenoy books, let me know in the comments down below which one is your favorite. How many of them have you read? If you haven't ever read Preeti Shenoy books and you're still watching this video, tell me what you think about it. Tell me what you think about the little introductions I gave to her books. And also, this is a series of videos that I'm doing, and I would really like your feedback on the series. Would you like me to continue doing it? Which other authors you want me to cover? Let me know in the comments down below. I'll link the videos down below which I have already done in the series, so keep checking the description and keep commenting, and make sure you hit a thumbs up if you like this video. This is Melvi signing off. I'll be back with another video very soon.